Hey everyone, my name is Rayma Mariello, and this is video number 2 of my writers series. And in this video, I want to focus on a little more of the logistics behind how to bring your book to life. Let's say you've written it, and now what? I know a lot of people who have written a book and are just sitting on it. Now, maybe that's all they wanted to do. Maybe they just wanted to write it and it's in a Word document on their computer, and that's great. If that's all you want to do with it, that's amazing. But let's say you actually want to hold a physical book in your hand. You've written the content. Now what do? For me personally, I am a firm believer that if you want something done, you want to do it right the first time. There are a ton of resources out there for you to put a book together for free. Now, if you do not have the financial resources to pay and hire professionals to help you with this process, there are a lot of great resources out there for you. But may I suggest that you save money to hire professionals to do certain parts of your book. The first thing that I would recommend you hiring somebody to do is your cover art. People go to college to do this. I would consider myself creative, but I would not create my cover of my book. There are people out there who are graphic designers who specialize in book covers. The reason I would suggest paying somebody, now honestly the pay scale fluctuates for this. You can pay $300, $400, up to $600 for a book cover art, but honestly it's worth it because it is your first exposure to the world. It needs to look good when it's a thumbnail size, when it's on Amazon or on Barnes & Noble's website or whatever the case may be. It needs to have a good eye-catching design when it's this big. So you have to take into consideration color, font, any pictures that are on the front. So all of these things play into creating a good cover. And so I personally would suggest paying somebody to do that so that you know that it is done right, especially if this is the first time that you've ever written a book and like you really want to be an author as a career. This is the first time that the public is going to be exposed to you as an author. And so you want to make sure that it's done well and it's done right. Now, maybe you're a graphic artist and you can do it for free. That's amazing. But if that is not your forte, I do not recommend taking that task on your own. I know there's resources out there for you to do it. And if that is, you can't afford to save, you can't afford to pay somebody to do it, great. Make the dream a reality. But I would recommend paying somebody to do the cover for you. And if any of you are graphic artists or you know of anybody or you used anybody to do your cover that you would highly recommend, please post their information in the comment section below so that people watching this video have actual resources to hire somebody to do it for them. The second thing that I would pay somebody to do is edit the book. I am not gifted in art. I spell like a 4-year-old. And so again, if this is your first book, and I would even suggest any books that you write in the future, this is the first time the public is going to read your stuff, and you want them to take you seriously. Like, you took a lot of time, a lot of heart to put this on paper. You want to make sure that it's edited in a way where people are going to take you seriously as an author, because our job is to write words, and they need to be coherent, and they need to be spelled correctly, and the order in which they're written needs to flow right. And so I would also pay to have somebody professionally edit the book. The interior layout is also really important. For me, my books, my interior, I wanted them to look unique. I wanted them to look different than an average devotional. So that took a lot longer. It takes a lot more of a process of formatting and laying it out. However, there are resources for you to do the formatting and the laying out for free. But again, that's not my lane, and I didn't want to invest the time into figuring it out. So I hired somebody to do it. But again, there are resources for you to do it for free. And if you know of any of those resources, please post the links to those in the comment section below. But I am a firm believer in paying people to do what they are gifted in, so that your book is done right the first time, that it is done in excellence, that you don't look back and say, I wish the cover looked different, and of course you can change it, you can rebrand, but if you're going to do it right the first time, in my opinion. Let's see. I self-published both of my books. So do your homework. You got to do your research. Not every self-publishing platform is good. I'll post a couple of the self-publishing platforms that I personally researched. I went through CreateSpace. Some people have had a horrible time with them. It has been a really smooth process for me. They provide a lot of services. CreateSpace actually provides a lot of the services that I was just talking about, with the cover art, the interior layout, the editing. They provide all of those services. So they're kind of an all-in-one self-publishing platform. The one thing I think I'm correct in saying this, they do not provide hardcover options for a book. So if you're wanting a hardcover book, there are other self-publishing platforms, but it costs more for you to do a hardcover than a paperback, just because of resources and materials, which means your profit per book will be less. So just take that into consideration as well. But it takes a lot of research. But you got to be willing to do it. I just recently got picked up by a publishing house, and they just picked up my first book, which is Because Crack is Illegal, and that was almost like a freak accident that happened. So I can't speak from the position of sending in a book pitch. I didn't walk down that road. So again, if any of you have pitched a book and it got picked up by a publishing house, I would love for you to maybe make a video on what that process looked like and post it in the comment section below. I think that would be really great information for people to know and to hear. Be aware of what the market is. What kind of market is there for your book? Price point. You got to research what the price point is going to be. For me, mine was a personal kind of conviction for my first book, Because Crack is Illegal. I wanted it to be affordable for everybody in all walks of life. And so my price point actually was really low. I priced it at $6.99. Yeah, but an average book is priced at like $11.99, $12.99. So look at the market. Be aware of what the market is calling for, and who your quote competition is. You got to know who you're up against. What does their cover look like? Like when I was first putting together my first book, I went to the bookstores and I pulled books off of the shelf and I looked at what does the inside look like? What does the cover look like? What are the things that I liked? What are the things that I didn't like? So that really helped me form my idea of what I wanted the book to physically look like. I had done all the work to create the story and to write the book itself, but I also wanted the book to reflect me. And so I went to the bookstore and I looked at other devotionals. What did I like about what they did and what did I not like? And so I created the book based off of my personal opinion. And honestly, that cover of my book is what has actually sold my book, is the cover and the title. So be even conscious of your title. If you are going the self-publishing route, you have the freedom to name it whatever you want to. Now, when you get picked up by a publishing house, they may actually want to change the title of your book. I have a friend who went through the publishing house process, and she was dead set on this title, and the publishing company was like, no. It's not going to sell. It makes sense to you, but it's not going to make sense to Sally, who just walks down a book aisle and picks it up. She's not reading it from the same perspective that you have it. So don't hold so tightly to things. Be open to feedback. Ask people, what do you think about this title? And if they're like, meh, but at the end of the day, you get to make the call. So just be aware that don't do everything based off of what everybody else thinks. If you love it, it's your book. It's got your name on it, so you have permission to call it whatever you want to call it. So research. You got to do your research on what kind of platform, if you're going to self-publish, or if you are going to knock on doors of publishing houses, if you want to go that direction. I have a ebook format and a physical book. Maybe you want to start with just an ebook. You can start there. Nobody said you had to have a physical book. Maybe you want to start there. I know some people who have just an ebook format. Me personally, mine are devotionals, so the market shows that people want to actually hold a physical book in their hand, but I also have an ebook format. So give people options of different books. I only paid through CreateSpace, I only paid like $80 for them to take my physical copy and transfer it into an ebook format. So for me personally, that was money well spent. So you want to give people options because some people are more tech savvy and hate paper. I know people who hate the feel of paper, which is totally fine. So you want to meet your audience where they are in a healthy way. Don't feel like you've failed if you go the self-publishing route. I did, and I got picked up by a publishing company. So it is possible to do that. Do your research. Again, what is on the market? What are you competing with? But again, do not let any of these things discourage you. Just let it help you decide what you want the book to look like. What does the interior need to look like? What seems to be the trend right now, or whatever the case may be, but do your research. But do not allow research to be a crutch for you to not actually pull the trigger on anything. I think a lot of times we will be so diligent in our research that it will delay us from actually saying, let's just go for it. Because I think it's almost like I'm researching. I'll publish it, but I'm researching. And then a year later, you're still researching. At some point, you have to stop using research as an excuse for not moving forward. So at some point, you got to just pull the trigger on it and make it happen. Don't allow fear to stop you from putting legs to a dream or to a goal. When you need to have a great marketing campaign, especially if you're self-publishing, you don't have the marketing that a publishing house has. So you have to get creative with marketing. If you have friends that maybe specialize in marketing, pick their brain. What is trendy? Start an author page maybe on Facebook, because your personal page on Facebook, like I have a personal Facebook page, and then I have they call it a public figure page, which I'm not a public figure, but like a public figure page or a company's page or a nonprofit's page, you actually have the option of paying for ad space. Now, it's actually not that expensive to do it. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the ads on Amazon, because I can't figure it out. So if any of you guys know how that works, please fill me in, because I don't understand it, but maybe you'll figure it out. But there are ways for you to pay for advertising that is not going to break the bank. You also may want to send your book to maybe an online magazine. For me, my first book was for moms. So I would send my book to a mom blogger, or a magazine that is specifically geared towards maybe Christian mothers, and ask them to do a book review. So get creative with marketing. Go to other authors' pages and see what they're doing. Start a author or a website for the book specifically. One of the things that I did that it was just kind of a fluke thing, but it actually ended up working pretty well. I made a promo video for my first book. I have a friend who does videography, and I paid him to put a video together for me advertising that book, and it was amazing. It was a great tool that people could share on social media. So if you have somebody who can make you a promo video, do it. Or take the time to make a promo video, maybe like this, so that you have something that people can share on a social media platform. Again, there's a lot of moving parts with the marketing side of it, but get creative. Don't invest a ton of money until you really know what you're doing. Be open to just being aware of misses. Oh, I missed the mark on that one. Next time I won't do that. And so if you make a mistake, or you did something that you wish you could have done differently, write it down and don't do it next time. It's all of this is a learning curve. None of us know what we're doing. None of us. And so all of us are just learning as we go. So there is no special formula. There is no perfect way of doing it. So don't be afraid to try. Don't allow fear to paralyze you. Again, it's all a learning curve. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, and you've written a book or you've self-published and you have any suggestions for anybody, please leave those in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. But yeah, start a website that is specifically geared towards the book, so that when you are advertising, you can drive them to a particular place that will have book information, author information, if you have a website personally, if you have social media, so that the people can connect with you as a human. I think that we are so engaged in people's lives through social media. They want to know the person who wrote the book, and they have the ability to do that through social media. So I would encourage you to be active on social media, not just as an author, but as a human being. They want to know that you are like them, that they can relate to you. Because if they can relate to you, you actually are creating kind of a fan base of people who will continue to follow you, because they feel like they have walked through this journey with you. You want to invite your audience along the journey with you because they feel like they're a part of the process, which they really are. And you want them to be a part of that. And so don't be afraid to share a picture of a vacation or something that you did that day. Don't let it just be marketing, 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 marketing. You want them to also know you on a personal level, and however you feel comfortable doing that. Like, everybody has boundaries, and so set those boundaries. But you also want them to know that you're a real person that has a real life that they can relate to. So use social media as a tool to help you, and get creative. Like I said, there is no perfect way of doing this. We're all learning as we go. And so if you've made mistakes along the way, I would love it if you would share those as well. So those are just some practical ways. I'm going to leave some links to some self-publishing platforms. You can do some of the research. If you guys have any input in that, please feel free to leave some maybe contacts of people who can do the cover art, can do the interior layout, can do the editing. If you guys have any questions or any, you're going through the process of actually making this book a physical copy and you get stumped along the way, please do not hesitate to ask. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can comment below in the comment section. You can follow me on social media. You can contact me through my website. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, I want to be here to help you make your dream a reality, to be here to be a cheerleader, to be an encourager, and to help you if you get stumped along the way. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. If there is another video that you would like me to do on this topic, I would be more than happy to do so. Yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys soon.